Hello and welcome to all our young members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be given this chance to address all of you young members. My name is Chetan Dalal and it is my privilege to talk to you today about opportunities for chartered accountants in the world of forensic accounting and fraud detection. I wish to thank the Young Members Empowerment Committee for having given me this great opportunity, and I do wish that whatever I say and whatever I speak to you about in terms of this great subject of forensic accounting will be of use to you and value addition in your future endeavors and to become better chartered accountants and more successful in your future practice. In today's talk, I have on my agenda the following 4 items. First, I'll talk to you something about what forensic accounting is all about, the meaning. I'll introduce to you the subject of forensic accounting and fraud detection, of course, in a very brief way. After that, I'll give you a little idea about the scenario that is existing in the corporate and business world, not only in India, but I think the need for forensic accounting is across the globe, and therefore I think this is a subject which will be very useful to all chartered accountants in the foreseeable future. So I'll give you a little idea about the business scenario. Then I'll come straight to the subject on hand, which is the opportunities that are available for chartered accountants in this world of forensic accounting and fraud detection. I'll talk about opportunities in private sector companies, public sector companies, government organizations, and the kinds of opportunities that are available for you to think over and perhaps use this as one of your main future areas of consultancy to potential clients. And of course, the most important issue here is how do you get those opportunities? Well, there is no given solution for actually finding work, but I can at least share with you a few tips of what I did and what possibly can be done to get or encash these opportunities. So this is the thing that I will be talking about in this 20 or 25 minutes of talk relating to opportunities on forensic accounting and fraud detection. Let's take the very first thing, the meaning. Now, since you are all qualified chartered accountants and people who are already professionals, I don't want to go into a textbook theoretical definition of forensic accounting, but let me tell you the key issue. The key issue in any forensic assignment or a forensic use of the word forensic means that which is used or admissible in a court of law. This is the central theme of forensic accounting. Therefore, what you have to bear in mind is that whenever you're conducting or performing any audit, any investigation, any assignment, your end result or your end product should be such that a court of law would be able to make use of it and a judge would be able to give some kind of a verdict on that. Now, you may well ask that isn't an audit report or an audit certificate a part of admissible evidence? Of course it is. But remember one thing, that an audit report normally expresses an opinion. I think a forensic accountant's report goes much further. It actually evaluates evidence. It just does not merely rely on evidence, but it evaluates evidence and gives a little better insight into the evidence, and based on which a judge can get a little better evaluation of what the submission is, what the issue is on hand, and to what extent it really substantiates, proves or disproves a particular submission. So it is in a way a much stronger audit report than what we normally have in our statutory audits. Most of these audits that we do are governed by certain statutory compliance provisions. So their objectives may be limited, their objectives may only allow or actually require an auditor to go up to a point, whereas a forensic auditor or a forensic accountant actually leaves no stone unturned to determine whether the issue at hand is provable or can be proved in some form or the other. Therefore, friends, forensic accounting, remember one thing, is something where you look at it from all angles. You find out every possible piece of evidence that there could possibly be, and then furnish your evaluation, your opinion, your certification. And therefore, it is said that in order to be able to conduct a forensic investigation, you require three kinds of skill sets. One is your usual accounting. You should be a good accountant, which you already are, being chartered accountants. Two, you should be good auditors as well, which also most of you would be, and you would have had the audit experience. And in addition to the accounting and auditing skills, what you require are skills of detectives. That is, you require detective skills. And detective skills are usually those which are based on common sense and logic. The ability to infer, the ability to deduce from something that is available. That when you merge with accounting and auditing skills, this trio facilitates you in becoming a forensic accountant. So friends, this is what, in very, very simple terms, what forensic accounting is all about. Based on my experience, I can only tell you, friends, that it is a very interesting field. Every assignment, every investigation, every job or every project that you do will have a lot of unique peculiarities of its own and will become a challenge, no doubt, but it has its own fun, it has its own set of enjoyment values and the ability and the opportunity to use your inherent skill sets as accountants and auditors. Therefore, friends, if you were to go by my experience, I tell you that this is a field where you will love your work, you will have a passion for your work, and you will enjoy doing this work. Now let us look at the second point that I was talking about, the scenario. What is the current scenario in today's world? I'm sure I don't need to tell you that the entire environment in India today is charged. Charged with what? Charged with a sense of concern. We've had a series of frauds, like starting from Satyam, in fact across the world, starting from Enron, and in the last decade we have seen a lot of blue chip companies also showing amazingly very deep-rooted failure results. And in virtually every company there have been questions, and very, very unfortunate questions for us chartered accountants as to what were we actually doing. Were we actually asleep? Did we not perform our duties properly, or did we not? In fact, there were even questions asked whether we were conniving. It's unfortunate that though our profession is such a noble profession, today we are in a place, or we are in the eye of the storm, where a lot of discomfort is currently there. But be that as it may, we are good accountants, we will rise above all this. And one of the things that the Institute has correctly done is to encourage this particular line of activity, line of business opportunity for chartered accountants, wherein we try to help and facilitate companies, whether they are government companies, whether they are private sector companies, to address this evil of fraud, to address this evil of financial wrongdoing. In today's statutory compliances, for the first time in history, fraud has been defined under the Companies Act. So friends, you can imagine that now, even at the government level, even at the overall national level, this is considered to be a very important buzzword and a point which needs to be addressed. And what we are discussing about today, that is this forensic accounting, is something that addresses this directly. So once again, I need not really explain to you how important and how grave the situation is for us to be able to develop these skill sets in forensic accounting, develop these practices, better practices in our audit, so that we are in a better position to discover fraud well before it occurs or very soon after it occurs, and to also help our clients in preventing or reducing fraud. So when you look at this scenario, you may ask me that what is the kind of work that is normally entailed in this field of forensic accounting and fraud detection? Well, friends, I can think of the following kinds of assignments which can legitimately come up in our field of work. First is just conducting simple risk assessments. Sometimes you may get assignments where clients may come to you and they may ask you to just do a kind of a health checkup for their companies. For example, just as you go to a doctor and you ask him to just check you out. You may feel that you're completely healthy, but it's just a good practice to go and have, get yourself checked out. So different kinds of tests, different kinds of checkups are administered by the doctor before he decides or before he gives you an assessment whether you are absolutely fit or whether you need to be careful about anything. In exactly the same way, forensic accountant also provides a service of this nature, which is called a risk assessment. When you say risk assessment, means you help a company to evaluate whether any area of operation or in any way is there any major risk whereby it is vulnerable to financial fraud, abuse, or any kind of wrongdoing which can be detrimental to its health. So this, friends, is already in force. A lot of companies are asking for this sort of work, and in the foreseeable future I can only see this kind of work increasing for our new young members to consider offering their services in. The second thing, the second area where a lot of requests are going to come up are those cases or those situations where the management suspects that there is some kind of a fraud. And fraud could be anything. It could be a leakage in revenue, it could be a malpractice, it could be some kind of quality related issue, it could be anything whereby a company's health is not the best, and the management feels that let us just rule out the possibility that somewhere or something within or nearby the company is creating a kind of a leakage or is impacting the company in a negative way whereby its bottom line is being impacted. Now this kind of an assignment is also increasing steadily because people are conscious that there are services available whereby they might be able to arrest leakages and arrest any kind of wrongdoing, and even if they don't have any specific reason to believe, they are just suspecting something to be wrong, sometimes they conduct these assignments, and such kind of opportunities are also going to be quite high in the foreseeable future. The third are actual investigations, fraud investigations, where there is, let's say, a complaint received from somebody, or where it is known that there is a shortage of stock, or it is known that there is some kind of a manipulation in the books of account. The companies, the directors, the management, perhaps even the mid-management may decide to go into the actual area where this aspect has been noticed and reported and conduct a complete investigation. So this is the third kind of consultancy assignment that we are looking at in opportunities that could be available for young CAs. And lastly, of course, we are talking of the high level forensic accounting assignments, where you may have to actually do a complete thorough forensic audit. That is an audit where you may have to report on any kind of alleged wrongdoing, and the report may be used not only by the management of the company, it may be used by a third party, it could be used by the government, it could be used by anybody, and may be submitted or placed in a court of law. So friends, these are the different kinds of assignments which are going to come and which are already there in the current scenario, and which are only going to increase in the foreseeable future. And therefore, friends, I request you to gear up, increase your skill sets, and try and see whether you can offer these services. Now, in this, I would like to tell you that there is one offshoot of this which is also, or which can be offered by chartered accountants. And what is that? It's a kind of a fraud help desk, or if you call it in another way, a whistleblower help desk. Now you may be aware, friends, that virtually every company today has a whistleblower policy, and such policies are usually kept or usually even given on their websites to give every person or every aggrieved person an opportunity of being heard or to complain even anonymously to the company about something that he or she may feel scared coming out in the open to do. So whistleblowers are often encouraged to send very specific complaints if they have something to report to the company for some kind of wrongdoing or abuse. Now, every company which has a good practice of corporate governance will want to address these whistleblower complaints, particularly the ones which are serious and where the company's image also is severely impacted. They would like to evaluate these complaints, whistleblower complaints, and then take a call whether there is merit, and if so, whether further investigations or further inquiries are necessary. Now, in this aspect, friends, and this is particularly for young chartered accountants, they can also offer this whistleblower evaluation service. In fact, there are some agencies available today who offer this help desk. Like they may offer one special telephone line, one email address, or some post box where they, on behalf of the company, will receive all these telephone calls or mails or emails, and they will do the sifting process, the entire evaluation of every complaint that has been received, what kind of, summarizing the nature of the allegations, what is their recommendation, what the company should do, and prioritize them in terms of those which should be addressed and those which may be dismissed. Now, this kind of a service is a kind of a 24-hour round-the-clock service which is offered to them in terms of a telephone and an email service, but which many companies are using today. So this is one helping or providing a whistleblower's help desk is perhaps another professional line of service which is good and which is addressing the social evil of fraud, which may be useful to you young chartered accountants. So friends, this was a little idea about what are the kind of assignments that you are likely to be able to get in this. Now, let's look at the places where these opportunities are actually going to be available and what kind of opportunities are available. First and foremost, let me divide the nature of the opportunities into two parts. One is, as I've mentioned to you, there can be these consultancy assignments. I've already outlined to you the different kinds of assignments that are likely to come to you, which can be all considered as a part of your consultancy service work, or of course they could also be a part of your audit related service, because some of them may actually be termed as special audits or special internal audits. That again depends on the management, and it varies from case to case, but essentially these are some assignments which you can largely cover under what we call consultancy services. But apart from that, there is one more very important area which is emerging based on this particular line of activity, and that is training in fraud detection and forensic accounting. Because the need of the hour across India and across the world is to find people who are good forensic accountants and who can do investigations with skilled resources, with good tool sets, with good experience. A lot of chartered accountants and a lot of investigators are asked to be trained, to be guided as to how to conduct, perform, and report on fraud investigations that they do. So for this purpose, our own institute, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, has commenced a course since the last 4 or 5 years, which is called a certification course on fraud, forensic accounting and fraud detection. This course is being run throughout the year. I think more than 5 or 6 such courses have been held even this year, and they are held in different centers across India. And it is worthwhile for young members to participate in these courses, get this certification, and eventually once they pass the exam, which is held in this course on the last day of the course, it's a 6-day course, and once they pass that, they are awarded a certificate, and their names are also put up on the website of the institute. So this is perhaps one of the first places or the starting points for a member to show visibility that he is capable of doing a forensic accounting assignment, and he has been so recognized by the institute, and for which he has passed the necessary exam which has been given by the institute, and has also attended a 6-day training course for this. So friends, I would really heartily recommend that you do these kind of forensic accounting certification courses, get the desired skill sets, understand more about forensic accounting, and we shall definitely bring back our institute to its glory that it so richly deserves. Now, in the corporate world, you can get an assignment either through the middle level management, where, let's say, some branch of a company or in some small depot of a company, some kind of a fraud has been noticed, and they want a forensic audit to be carried out. So that is at a middle level. But it can also come on account of good corporate governance, where an audit committee may meet, and based on certain recommendations which may have been given by the auditors or by anybody whom they have faith on, and if they find that there are certain areas where some investigations need to be made, then the audit committee itself will recommend to the board and ask for a forensic accounting or a fraud investigation related assignment to be carried out. Then, apart from this, as we said, risk assessments, or we are talking of whistleblower policies, or implementation of a whistleblower's complaint, addressing a whistleblower's complaint. There are lots and lots of avenues which are now available in the private sector for conducting these kind of assignments. Even today, even conducting internal audits are virtually or semi or quasi fraud investigation assignments, because the charter of internal audit may want also an evaluation of the controls, whether fraud is minimized or fraud risk is minimized. So friends, please take this very seriously, that knowledge and awareness of various fraud detection tools or advanced auditing practices to detect wrongdoing or to find clues where something could go wrong are going to be very important. But opportunities in the corporate and business world are definitely going to be extremely high. Let me come to the government organizations. Let's take police. The economic offences wing of the police actually have asked our institute and so many bodies to provide to them chartered accountants who are equipped with the skill sets to conduct forensic accounting assignments. As you must have been reading in the newspapers, there are so many frauds, there are so many big scams which are being reported virtually every month, every week, and these run into crores and crores of rupees. Even the police need resources for the purpose of conducting these investigations. And mind you friends, these assignments or these investigations which the police want help in are no small assignments. They are assignments which are huge in value, huge in quantum, huge in the number of people involved, complicated in terms of the operations of that business or the manner in which the fraud has been done, and the difficulties because of far-flung locations across India. So all these assignments are by no means easy at all. They are in fact quite difficult, I would say, but that's wherein the challenge actually lies, and that's wherein you will be able to use your professional expertise. You can prove the fact, you can prove to the society that yes, you can do, and you are the right kind of people to guide and help the police in bringing the perpetrators to book and to provide a better future for the business world. So the police requires our services, the banks, and for this purpose even the RBI requires. In fact, the RBI has also very often approached our Institute of Chartered Accountants for providing to them names of chartered accountants who are good in forensic accounting. Income tax, sales tax, VAT, public sector units, foreign banks, of course foreign banks, foreign government banks, governments outside India. Today India's reputation in many countries is so good that they virtually ask chartered accountants from India to go there and advise their government companies to set up risk assessment cells, to be able to provide for better preventives, to be able to provide a better control environment. And that's where our Institute of Chartered Accountants must be complimented for having provided so many different ways of training and finding proper professional guidance for our members. So friends, rest assured that both in the private sector as well as in the public sector, there are lots and lots and lots of opportunities which are available. The second part, so far we've been talking only about the consultancy aspect of this particular line of work that we chartered accountants do. But what about training? Training is also very, very, very attractive in terms of the opportunities available. Every good company requires to enhance its controls, internal controls, to ensure that it has taken appropriate steps for preventing or detecting fraud. For this purpose, it requires training. A company big companies in India can have more than 500, 600 chartered accountants. They may have people in the finance department which may be running into thousands. They may have people in operations which are huge, but most of these rely on the set of control procedures which are actually in place. But in order to find out how these can be breached and what can be done to detect or prevent such fraud, there is training that is required, and that's the area, friends, where we as chartered accountants can provide them a huge amount of guidance and experience. And training is also an area of opportunity where good fees can be charged, appropriate and commensurate fees can be charged for the kind of training that we do, and usually you will find that clients are very happy to pay something, because as they say in India, guru is considered to be somebody very much revered and respected, and usually nobody will even think twice before paying whatever you ask for in terms of training. So another area where I feel that all of you young chartered accountants, where you can really do well, is to help in training and eventually take up training as perhaps a line of business or as a line of professional service in its own way. So friends, these are some of the opportunities that were or that are available, and I can only tell you this, friends, that these opportunities are going to increase. There will be many more opportunities in the near foreseeable future, and if you dedicate yourself to this line, I can promise you that you will never regret it. Yes, like in any other line that a chartered accountant, or for that matter any professional, takes up, there is a little gestation period. There is a need for patience, and there is a need for faith in your own self. It is not that the day you open your office you will get 5 assignments. Obviously that's not the case, friends. But it is also not so that you open your office and you'll never have work. You'll have work, it will come to you, and if you concentrate on doing a good job, performing your investigations or your consultancy services to the best of your ability, then the Almighty will take care of you by making sure that you will get people who will come to you and want you to help them in your work. That is my guarantee. Be good, be fair in your work, do it to the best of your ability, and leave the rest to God. Okay, but this is one aspect. Let us also look at the more practical way of getting or encashing some of these opportunities for us as chartered accountants. Well, there is no textbook method that I can give you whereby you can say that, okay, if you follow these 8-10 steps, you will be in a position to get an assignment and you will be able to do an assignment. At the most, maybe we can give you some guidance on how to conduct or perform an assignment, but not how to get an assignment. But I'm willing to share with you what I have gone through and where I have been reasonably successful in life, and I have been getting these assignments and opportunities in forensic accounting. Now, I suggest that you channelize your energies into two stages. At a very young stage, like let's say for an absolutely fresh chartered accountant, a chartered accountant who has just passed and he's starting his practice, obviously his experience is going to be zero, but he's already got his certification, he already has the knowledge. He needs an area or a place or an opportunity to be able to use it. So step number 1 is to find a mentor or a senior who's willing to use your services. And for this, friends, the important thing is to find a good firm or a good senior person who's involved in these kind of assignments, who's offering these services already. And offering your services to that person Even if he does not pay you for that, you take it as an investment cost as far as you are concerned for learning how to do this and for getting into the groove of conducting an assignment. Now, once you start doing this, once you, maybe for a year or 2 years, you work with people who are experienced, people who are knowledgeable, people who are senior to you, you will benefit in several ways. You will get experience, which is what you will want for future assignments. You will have some fees at least. Nobody in this world will take advantage of you in the way that you will not get anything. You may not get what you want, but you will get something. So your subsistence will start. And the third thing is, which you will realize, is that you will start getting in touch with people, and more than that, people will start knowing about you. When you go to some client's place for the person whom you are working with, that client will also see you. Like say, I'll give you an example, that when I have my team going into any client's place for doing some investigation, invariably I get a feedback, oh, your other assistant, Mr. So-and-so, he was very good, very easy. You send him again for so-and-so assignment, or somebody will say, okay, can I approach him and give him this work directly, because they may find my services very costly. I may even agree. Now, these kind of opportunities are going to come even by doing this work in a sincere and a good way with a senior chartered accountant. So, don't hesitate to do this work with others who are successful or who are already there in this particular field, and gain experience from them. And don't make fees an issue whilst you are doing this kind of work. And believe me, friends, the dividends will be received by you in very soon thereafter. Okay, the second aspect, which will be very important for you to get work, is you must create awareness that you are on the scene, that you have arrived here. So what do you do? One of the things that you can think of is write articles or books. Today we have our institute. The institute is constantly asking for research papers. Institute is asking for articles to be written in the journal. You have the western or the regional journals. You have various different organizations or accounting bodies. Like in Bombay, you have Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, who also provide a platform or a journal for people to write articles and make their views known. Now, even if you write an article once in a while, your name will become will be joined with this particular kind of service that you are talking about, and eventually people will remember you as a person who offers this kind of a service. In its own way, it serves as a kind of a media tool to make people know that you have arrived and that you do work in this kind of activity. The second thing is, in seminars, conferences, or in study circle meetings, offer yourself as a speaker or as a rapporteur or as some kind of a participant, so that again people will see you when you present a paper, when you speak at seminars. Again, there is a kind of visibility where at one moment or at one point of time, a large group of people, a large group of other professionals are watching you, and will be the basis for you to get future assignments from or reference work from. And again, people may say, okay, there are so many speakers and there are better speakers. Yes, I do not deny that. But what you must do is, wherever there are such seminars or conferences to be held, usually, this is my experience, there is also a call for papers. Of course, there are some speakers who are fixed where they want certain speakers to come and address the group for a specific purpose that they are experts in. But there are also slots available where they invite papers. Apply for that. Maybe sometimes you won't get them, but somewhere by the law of averages, you'll get some opportunity somewhere, and apply in as many places or as many seminars, conferences, study circles that you can think of. Because this is a good, legitimate way of making your presence felt, of making yourself visible. And believe me, friends, all these are not easy, but a little perseverance is what really counts. And though you may feel a little sense of frustration in the beginning, once you make your mark, once you set your foot in, there is no looking back. I can promise you results will be good. I have gone through the same processes myself. I have been rejected to myself, and I know how it feels when your paper is rejected, when you don't get an opportunity. But this is basically a part of life, friends. But having said all this, I also know that If you have faith and if you persevere, you will get these kind of opportunities without fail. Friends, essentially, towards the end, I can only summarize and tell you that we are offering a noble service to the society. Ours is a noble profession. Our institute has been, in fact, I am grateful to it for whatever I am and whatever I have derived in terms of benefit, in terms of knowledge, in terms of all the opportunities that I have got. And I cannot thank it enough. And I can promise you, friends, as well, that if you have faith in yourself, if you have faith in the qualification that you got as a chartered accountant, doesn't matter if the world also is against you, you can rise above everybody, you will be successful in life. We are in trying times, undoubtedly. We are being tested at this time, but we are made of stuff where we can meet this challenge, we can definitely succeed. We are going by, and this particular field of fraud investigation actually is built on this Gandhiji statement that in today's world, there is enough for every man's need, but not enough for every man's greed. Therefore, friends, for you to run a good practice, for you to run a good service, for you to run a good chartered accountant's firm, there is enough work in this. Of course, for those who want to just make money the wrong way, there is not enough in this world. And I would say that your primary objective should be to do and offer a good service, and money should be taken as a byproduct. But somewhere down the line, we mix up and we take our main objective to be to make money and allow our service to be a byproduct. Don't allow this mistake to happen. Do your best. Use your skill sets that you have, integrity and honesty and sincerity. Once these elements are mixed in, friends, success is going to be yours. So once again, I thank you all members for giving me a patient hearing. These views are my own views, and I thank once again the Young Men Members Empowerment Committee for having given me this opportunity to speak. Thank you very much.